Hi everyone, it's Linda here from Banjo's Bead House with the final project in the Bead with Linda for Seed Bead September 2025 project. Can't believe we've managed to get to week 6 of this, and hopefully this one goes without any technical issues and redos, unlike last week's. So welcome to Facebook Friday. As I am trying to survive crazy hot weather here in Sydney. I can't believe it is early October and we're having a 30-something degree day. I'm not looking forward to summer. But anyway, I'm going to tip you guys down and we will take a look at my redo piece that is finished, and we'll take a look at how I'm going to turn that into a rope. Sorry, into a pendant. Sorry, told you, crazy day. So this is the finished piece. So when I left you guys last time, we had my little flower bridge that came to me as pure inspiration, and I had this little decorative piece and I had done an edge. I'd shown you guys slip stitching some gold on top. I decided to remove that after the video. I just didn't quite like it. I ended up using the bugle beads. I'm just gonna, sorry, get under my desk to focus that. I ended up using the bugle beads and the little 2 millimeter blue goldstone just to do the little edging. I liked just the little detail down the bottom where you couldn't put a bugle bead at the point. I used some more of those little 2 mil gold plated hematite beads. So just gave a nice little balance to all the little gold hematite up here in the flowers. Hi Kelly, thank you for joining us. I have had a few people ask how I did this part. I have answered a few of those on DMs, and I will come back and do a demo of this on a later day just to show you. But yeah, I can also give props, I guess, to taking the lipstick pendant class with Paula earlier in the year, because it got me interested in playing around with flowers, which led to the flowers for this kit. And yeah, I happened to find the Lipsy on my desk as I was cleaning up, which is still in a work in progress mode. And yeah, pure inspiration hit, and we have my little, what somebody called a flower crown. Somebody else referred to this as vase and the little flowers popping out. So however you want to call it, it was just a fun execution and moment of play, and just pure play after a really, really crazy day. So yeah, that is where we are at. So yeah, I am kind of in love with this little textured piece and all of these flowers. So somebody else has asked if I'm getting more flowers in. Yes, I will be. These do come in a variety of colors. I actually ordered a mixed pack to start with and then fell in love with this Jet AB. So they will be coming back in. And I will get some more of these in as well so that we can all have some fun playing around with some really cool textured pieces. Yeah. Kelly, everyone is having that reaction, and my grandmother's already declared that this is hers. I don't know if it'll actually make it to the showcase. She's trying to call dibs on it already. Um, Gotta love that. So today we are going to turn this into a bail. I did discuss, sorry, we're going to turn it into a pendant with and adding a bail. I did discuss the possibility of adding a tassel down the bottom. I did play around with one, but for me, it just felt really, really heavy. And I just didn't want to distract too much from the flower arrangement at the top. So for the bail, I'm going to keep it really, really simple and just do one of my favorites, which is a double right angled weave bail, which is the same thing that's on the necklace I'm wearing today. So you can see here, this is just double right angled weave. So it's just 2 rows of it joined together, and it just makes a really nice, simple, quick bail. And as a single version, it makes a really nice, quick rope. So we will get started. I am going to do the blue as my core. So you will pick that up as 4 beads as you do for a normal right angled weave piece. And I'm just going to leave myself a decent tail in case I need to use it to stitch my bail on with. It just depends on how complicated it all gets. And if I could see, it would be great. So I'm just threading through all of those beads again and just forming my little square. Oops, as you can see. And with these guys, I like to go back through the first 2 beads again. That way, if I don't put a knot in, it becomes really nice and secure. So with double right angled weave, you are picking up another color and filling in between all of those little gaps. So I'm using gold as my complement. I know I had the silver line teal in my kit, and how I was originally planning on using it. The rope would have been, and the bail would have been in the teal and the blue. Given that I didn't end up using the teal in the piece, and it is skewing very gold and very blue, I've decided to use some size 11 in the gold. I know in your kit I gave you some 15s, I think. It's been a hot minute since I put that kit together, so I can't actually remember, and I think I only gave you 15. So if you've got some 11s in your stash, please go raid them to do this. And I'm just using the 4202 Duracoat Gold for this. So I've got the first component done. So that is, whoops, my, try and get that to focus again. You can see there, you've got the four component, the original raw in the middle as the blue, and then you've got the 4 points on the outside as your gold. I then go and pick up 4 more blue, and we're coming out of a gold. We're just going straight into it. So this makes a really great rope. So as we know, ropes are not everyone's favorite things to make because they are very, very, very time consuming and highly repetitive. This is one as a single chain I can just do in front of the TV without paying too much attention to what I'm doing, and can get one of these made in a night. So for me, they are great when I'm on time crunch to get things finished. I will tend to do this type of rope. And I love the fact that you can do it as two colors. You can also play with various color iterations as well. So we've added, sorry, my tail thread is now in the way. Getting him out of the way. So as you'll see there, whilst I was talking, I got, sorry, he is completely tangled. That's better. Now he's out of the way. Joys of trying to work and talk and everything else at the same time. So I've stitched in the 1, 2, 3, and the fourth one normally you'd pick up, but it's actually already there. So you're simply passing through that one from the previous row, and then you're just going to weave back up to that point. So for bales, I tend to do these in runs of about 7. That way I can actually get a magnetic clasp under the bale, which is good if you haven't already worked out your rope. You may or may not be able to slide a bead or toggle through, but you could always get your rope done, slide that through, and then permanently set it on. It just depends on what you want to do. There's lots of different options. Excuse me. So, oops. As I also hit the microphone, I apologize. Yes, and I know I also have a ridiculously long thread on here. I couldn't decide whether I was going to start a rope or just do the bale today and cut a long rope, long thread, to give myself options. So again, as I come up to that third, we're just going to run straight through that fourth one, which was the one from the previous connection point. Oops. Try not to bleed on my work now that I've stabbed myself. Common injury with a sharp needle, particularly one that's new out of the packet. So you always want to make sure you are, when you're doing right angle weave, you're going in the direction of your thread. So just always good to double check. so you don't wind up causing a problem. So we've passed halfway. That's handy. So you will see me here. I have just loosely threaded all of those in and now just doing one giant pull. You can do that. You've just got to be careful you don't trap your thread, because then you've got to undo all of that. So it can just be a little bit of a time saving measure, but you've just got to be careful. Oops. And you've also got to make sure you get your thread in the right position before you go pick up beads. Sorry, long thread now has a knot in it. Easily to remove, thankfully. So one more to go. I like to do these in an odd number just so that the rope has, it just sits nicer, and you've got a flat draw component sitting on top rather than the join. It just seems to sit a bit better, particularly for rounded ropes. So we have come to our end of a single strip. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 little blue squares. And now I am going to start the join for the second row. You can anchor this anywhere you like to start. given that we've got double stitching all along this side, with the superside tension of that, I tend to move mine to start on the opposite side. So I'm just weaving my ray round to this gold point here. So almost completely looped back around. Okay. And again, we're picking up 4 blue. And we just need to add our gold beads in. And try not to get our work caught. So we've got our first of the second row on. Now to add our next row, I need to be coming out of that top bead. So my thread path will allow me to go straight up to it. It's not always going to be that easy. Sometimes you've got to go all the way back around again. Okay, so we're back to our gold top. So this time, one of our gold sides is already here. So we still pick up our 4 blue, which needs to be run. I feel like I'm all thumbs today. Still needs to be run the same way. As we come up this side, we will add our gold as we have been. We will also be adding our gold at the top. But instead of picking up this third gold, it's actually here. So we pass through there. So you can see that it locks in and you get your fabric-like effect. So then we just need to get our needle back up to this one. So we'll just finish off that circuit and then weave our way back up. So we repeat, we're adding 4. Our thread has changed direction, as it does in this fun process. So this time we're going through the blue and we're going straight through that adjoining gold. So you will get alternating paths as you work this. Oops, need to go through that blue bead before I pick up my gold. Picking up our side gold, and then it's just a matter of weaving through back to that top gold we just added. So we've now added 3, we have 4 to go. And we're looping this way. So you can see this time we are adding our gold first. And I'm hoping I picked all of that up right. We'll soon know. Yep. See. So I've got a thread caught around something because I wasn't paying attention. There we go. Thread just loves to tangle on itself. In hindsight, I could have given myself a shorter tail, but that's okay. It was easier to hold. Oops. So for those counting at home, that's now 4 times I've stabbed myself with a needle today. Sometimes working with a duller needle is a better option. So we are just going to pick up the gold from the side and complete that join. And notice that thread path and fix that before we pull tight. So we have 1 left to go, and then I can attach this to the pendant. So you might be wondering why I sat and did all this in live and didn't do this in preview, because I've had some people wanting to see how long it actually takes to make components, and I am not the fastest beater. I don't generally do speed ups. I like to show you guys in real time where I can, and where I don't show you in real time, it's because it does take time. And so I'll show you the starter snake like we've done with these various elements in the Bead with Lynda project this time around, but each of the elements we've gone through each week has, been added into the next one. So it's just been a fun progression of skill building across the three. And fun playing with some new materials. Okay, so I just need to get my thread to the point. Kind of come out of the tip there. And then we are ready to join to my pendant. So to join to the pendant, now that I've got my little strip done, I'm just going to work out the center, which is basically around that flower, and try and mount it off those two gold rings that we added in on my brick stitch edge, which is the technique we demonstrated in the first week. So first project, second week. So I am just going to go under that thread path. And you can see I have not practiced this. Normally I would have zipped on a little seed bead here if I'd thought about it in advance to do my join work. I didn't. It is what it is. I'm actually not going to zip through that path. I'm going to try and zip in through the circle itself. So we're just going to come up. It's just that the thread path's more centrally lined around that bead, which is where I'm thinking to get this to hang centered. Okay. We will have to use the thread bridge. So I'm just going to run front to back. The thread's coming out of that side of my bail, so I'm going to go in that side. And repeat. And since I've got to join the back in the same manner, it's going to be a lot of thread hanging off this little bridge. But we've got one side done. So as I said, if I had been thinking about this whilst I had thread on here, I would have stitched two little beads to actually join to. I didn't. So we will make do with how we can engineer around this. So my thread is coming out that direction and I need to get back to this bead. So we are just going to weave our way around, or I could simply cheat, put a needle on that one and actually do that, which yeah, probably would have been the better choice. So bear with me. I'm just going to take needle off current piece and get a needle onto the end of this. And thread that over a dark surface where I've got half a chance of seeing crystal file line. Oops. Okay. So I've just taken my needle off that thread. It's now on this thread here. I'm going to go into that center bead and we're going to work off that thread bridge there. Now normally I would prefer, as I said, to stitch into a bead rather than to a thread bridge, but can do it. You just want to make sure that this is lightweight and you're aware of that being a delicate join. So we've now got the front side of our bale stitched on. I am going to leave you guys at this point rather than see me basically repeat that to stitch down the other side, which will create our bale loop. At some point, I will create a single draw rope, which will thread through there. And yeah, finish this little dude off. Now, a point about ropes. Quite often, we will stitch them directly into pieces. Challenge with that is if you've got skin like me that eats plate. This was a bright shiny gold magnet 2 years ago when I made this piece. My skin has now stripped off said gold plating and I'm back to the stainless steel that's underneath. So if you don't want to stitch in your pieces, you can jump ring them in. Great things to use are soldered rings. So this is just a little stainless steel 4mm soldered ring. In place of the 11 on the end here, you could actually stitch in one of these rings at an end for a rope. That gives you the freedom of jump ringing in a clasp of your choice later on. Alternatively, if you are making a toggle or a toggle or your own sort of finding out of glass seed beads, that's when I'll often drop in a size 8 seed bead and then I'll use that as my join point. So just things to consider about when you are making your ropes. You can stitch directly in. You've then just got to deal with how you're going to manage that if you get a discoloration, if something breaks, or you can simply add in connector points. So for me, it's usually size 8 seed bead or it's a closed ring. So yeah, that is it for me for the Bead with Lynda series for 2025 for our Seed Bead September. So yeah, I hope you guys have had fun on this little journey with me through our 3 projects. I have loved seeing the photos that people have been DMing me. Would love you guys to share photos of that on your social media and share it to Banjos as well, because I love seeing what you guys are creating, especially pieces that I've inspired you to play with. So yeah, love to see what you guys all come up with for this little one. He's been a fun one, that's for sure. So I will be back next week with our normal Facebook Friday, and I will see you guys then. Have a safe, fun, creative weekend. Bye for now.